everyone, Novels Wonderland here. Thank you all for the love and support you've shown me and the channel.
Bone King the Restorer's Wildlife, Chapter 151 to 154. I have Myriad Manifestations Chapter 152. I have Myriad Manifestations. The Great Sage's 3 skills are all support-oriented, so there is not much to say about them. Integration and separation are quite similar to disintegration-type abilities. They are useful both in combat and in daily life, as they can decompose finished equipment back into materials. However, the magic power consumption is probably a bit high. As for the chance skip ability, while not top tier, it is extremely practical. Its effect is close to one of Bone King's pay-to-win items. It can be used to skip the chanting phase of super tier magic and launch magic directly, catching enemies off guard. As for the final skill, self-acceleration, it looks pretty good. Self-acceleration means the enemy is effectively slowed down. If accelerated to the limit, could it be time stop? Regardless of anything else, this skill also grants immunity to control effects, and ignores time-based effects, making it very useful for both fighting and running away. However, the Great Sage's core ability, Analysis, is not a bit weaker than these 3 skills, and its cooldown is only 1 day. Among a bunch of rare classes, such a short cooldown for an ultimate skill is considered very generous. It is much more generous than those skills with a 1-month cooldown. Rowan remembers that Shaltir also has an ability like self-acceleration. He wonders who is stronger when compared to the Great Sage's version. Simply put, this class also has support-type abilities, and the abilities are all very practical, and the cooldowns are not as long as the other few classes. Although the effects are not that astonishing, they are all very practical abilities. Rowan poured all the remaining experience points in, raising his level to 68. With this, the experience he had accumulated for a long time was finally used up, and Rowan's attributes changed to level 68 class, Recovery Mage, Special LV5, Grand Blacksmith, Advanced Specialization LV10, Grand Alchemist, Advanced Specialization LV10, Azura Special LV5, Mother of Life, Special LV5, Forbidden Curse Weaver, Special LV5, Elemental Saint Spirit, Special LV5, Dragon Race Transcender, Special LV10, World Guardian, LV5, Magic Almighty, LV5, Great Sage, LV3, Talent. Class Evolver Karma, 80, Neutral, HP, 980, 98. MP, 980, 98. Physical Attack, 770, 77. Physical Defense, 980, 98. Agility, 770, 77. Magic Attack, 980, 98. Magic Defense, 1070, 107. Comprehensive Resistance, 875, 87. Specialty, 1040, 104. Skill Points, 139 Experience Bar, 4310W/8000W. Rowan could clearly feel that his life level had undergone a huge leap. Now, even if he stood still and didn't fight back, the aberrant would not be able to break through his defense. Most attributes are approaching full value, while magic defense and specialty have already surpassed the limit of the max level. And he is only level 68 now. Compared to the level 95 True Dragon King, his basic attributes are likely not much different. Among the many floor guardians under Bone King, his attributes are not weak at all. Because he holds special classes, Rowan's basic attributes are already far beyond those of the same level. Once he reaches the max level, he will likely be able to crush everyone. However, basic attributes are only a part of strength, level suppression, skills, and equipment are objective facts. He is only level 68. When facing a level 90 enemy, his damage will be attenuated to a certain extent. This has nothing to do with attributes, but rather the gap in life levels. Increasing the level is the leap in life level. With this, in this world, aside from those true dragon kings who possess origin magic, Rowan no longer fears any threats. Whether it is Zeshi Zetsumii or that descendant of the 8 Greed Kings, the Elf King, Rowan is confident that he can have a fight. Even with a gap of nearly 20 levels, Rowan is confident that he can smooth it out by relying on his special classes and basic attributes. Low profile, now is not the time to expose himself. It is only level 68, he still needs more growth. Even if he defeats Zeshi Zetsumei and the Elf King, it does not prove much. Haven't you seen that Bone King, who is max level, possesses the Great Tomb, carries numerous divine artifacts, has max level subordinates and world-class items, still carefully scouted after arriving. And himself, only a small level 68, no divine artifacts, no world-class items, no subordinates to use, and resources are pitifully scarce. There is still a long way to go. The surging thoughts gradually returned to calm. Rowan collected his thoughts and then, based on the memories of the great sage of the Orc Kingdom, swept away all of his collections. This guy's treasures made up for a small part of Rowan's deficit, but it was not enough. After receiving the memories of the great sage, Rowan became very familiar with the Orc Kingdom. He flew directly into the palace, used soul stripping to modify the soul of the Orc King, and then modified the souls of the Minister of Internal Affairs and the Minister of Military Affairs. Relying on these three people, he could secretly control the entire Orc Kingdom. Rowan had no expectations for the Orc Kingdom, only ordering them to scrape together materials. After looting the treasury of the Orc Kingdom, Rowan left this place. As for Shadow 3 and 4, they remained in the Orc Kingdom to continue collecting intelligence on the Central Six Nations. A few days later, the Orc Kingdom announced that the Great Sage had been ambushed by the despicable Minotaur Kingdom and the Troll Kingdom. The Orc Kingdom was filled with grief and indignation and officially declared war on the two countries. And the two countries, completely bewildered, had no idea what was going on. Ambush the Great Sage. The two of us. The Great Sage of the Orc Kingdom had extremely high prestige in the Orc Kingdom. Driven by the high-level officials, they launched a war with the strength of the whole country. Meanwhile, the two doll clones mixed into the two countries each led troops to start attacking cities, taking the opportunity of the war to frantically scrape experience. The Central Six Nations began to fall into chaos. The reason Rowan did this is also very simple: use the battlefield to kill indiscriminately, collect experience, attack various countries, and obtain resource materials. The Orc Kingdom has strong national power and rich resources, but it is still not enough. Rowan needs more. So that's it. Eye of Myriad Manifestations, is that what it means? Back at his home in the Holy Kingdom, Rowan looked at himself in the mirror. The originally jet black cross had an extra circle. If you don't look carefully, you can't even tell. Overall, it's not much different from before. The Eye of Myriad Manifestations is an enhanced version of the Eye of Forbidden Spells. The Eye of Forbidden Spells is an important passive for the Forbidden Curse Weaver, which can observe the flow of magic power. Relying on these eyes, Rowan can design forbidden curses more smoothly. If he didn't have these eyes, his success rate in designing forbidden curses would be greatly reduced. Not only that, it is extremely useful in daily life and combat, such as observing the traces of the opponent's use of magic, seeing through illusions, etc. And the upgraded Eye of Myriad Manifestations has all the original abilities, has received certain enhancements, and has also gained expansion. Some things without magic power, or even abstract concepts, can be captured by these eyes. Chapter 152, Historical Retrospection. Chapter 153, Historical Retrospection. Rowan used the Eye of Myriad Manifestations, staring at the magic book in his hands. This magic book itself had no traces of magic, but the Eye of Myriad Manifestations could discern its material, and even its origin. Furthermore, the Eye of Myriad Manifestations had gained a very special ability, and that is historical retrospection. By relying on an object, one could observe the history that had occurred to it. Rowan's eyes turned pitch black, as if devouring all light. Rowan saw the long days it had spent in the royal treasury, and saw it even earlier, being carefully studied by a mage. The closer the time, the clearer it was, and the less mental energy it consumed. The further back it went, the blurrier it became, and the more mental energy it consumed. For this object, it remained relatively clear within 100 years. Between 100 and 200 years, it began to place immense pressure on his mind, his vision became blurry, and beyond 300 years, it became even blurrier, directly leading to a collapse. Basically, 300 years was the limit. Moreover, this was only the result of Rowan skipping over the vast majority of the time. The more carefully he looked, the more mental pressure it exerted, and the shorter the time he could retrace. If he were to carefully observe the situation of every single day, Rowan estimated that he would collapse before finishing 10 years. This ability might seem useless for combat, but it was extremely powerful for gathering intelligence. If a battle occurred somewhere, using these eyes could even reconstruct the previous battle situation. The ability to acquire intelligence was terrifying. Conversely, if an enemy also possessed this ability, they could grasp a slight clue and deduce a significant amount of intelligence about oneself. TSK, it seems the hidden capabilities regarding intelligence still need to be strengthened. Since it can retrace, it can naturally also conceal and erase. This is an important subject that needs to be studied carefully. Rowan discovered that the stronger his strength became, the more he needed to research. Is this what they mean by the more you know, the more you realize your own ignorance? As for other abilities, Rowan took out 2 low-tier items. One was crafted by himself. The materials used were just ordinary materials, but his craftsmanship was superb, allowing him to achieve a low-tier standard using ordinary materials. The other was crafted by an ordinary blacksmith, using low-tier items as materials, but the craftsmanship was crude, barely taking shape. Both of these low-tier items were very ordinary, without anything special about them. Rowan activated the Great Sage's active, upgradable skill. The first-tier analysis ability was relatively weak, only able to parse the equipment's raw materials and general techniques. Among them, the ordinary blacksmith's item was parsed quite clearly, while his own was very blurry, with almost no technique visible. Superior forging techniques would cause the materials to fuse and change more thoroughly, thus increasing the difficulty of analysis. However, this problem was not major, because as long as there was enough mana, analysis could be used many times. Furthermore, the more mana used, the greater the depth of the analysis. Rowan increased his mana output and used analysis again. This time the effect was a bit better, but compared to the item crafted by the ordinary person, it was still quite lacking. One could only say that Rowan's craftsmanship was too good. He did not continue using analysis. So next, integration and separation. The ordinary blacksmith's piece of equipment was instantly decomposed into raw materials. The mana consumed was not much, and he basically didn't feel anything. But the one he forged himself was very laborious and extremely slow. It took a while to successfully decompose, and the mana consumed was more than 10 times that of the previous piece of equipment. This consumption amount was almost catching up to an 8th-tier magic. Integration and separation seemed to be linked to analysis. When the analysis was complete, integration and separation became very simple. If not, it was quite difficult, and there was even a possibility of failure. How to apply the Great Sage's abilities on the battlefield still needed careful research. The idea of wanting to forge, then use integration and separation, and continue forging with the separated materials to exploit a bug and continuously grind experience was not feasible, because the mana consumption was too high to support it, and the quality of the materials obtained after separation was also lower than the quality before forging. During the forging or separation process, there were losses. Therefore, compared to the wasted time and mana, the experience gained from repeated separation and forging was too little, and not worth it at all. If it were trash items forged by other blacksmiths, they could be separated. In addition, regarding the Great Sage's parallel thinking, this ability was very interesting. Rowan was equivalent to running 3 threads. Normally, his main body could research magic, and the other 2 thoughts could research alchemy and magic array, without conflicting, which was very convenient. When necessary, all 3 thoughts could research a problem together, thinking from multiple aspects simultaneously. Moreover, the connection between the thoughts was even closer than that of a puppet clone, which was very good. If he could create 2 high-level magic puppets later, he could even let the 2 thoughts separately control the 2 magic puppets, allowing both the main body and the magic puppets to unleash their strongest combat power. When not studying, synchronized thinking was also very useful in battle. The main body used the eye of myriad manifestations to observe the enemy, calculate and predict the enemy's attacks, and could even use analysis to analyze the enemy's equipment. While the other two thoughts could simultaneously use two spells to attack or defend. Of course, these two spells could not both be chanting-type spells, because there was only one mouth, and only one chanting-type spell could be used at a time. Overall, the great sage's abilities had many ways to be played. Whether it was research, learning, reconnaissance, or combat, they were useful everywhere, unlike Magic Almighty, whose abilities were simple, brutal, and mindlessly enhanced output. Not bad, this class is really fun. The Royal Palace. A family gathering was being held. The old king was talking about the recent situation in the country, and some matters among the nobles. Princess Lana listened to the old king's teachings with a smile, the expression on her face as bright as before. Whether it was her expression, language, or movements, it was always meticulously perfect, no flaws could be found from any angle. The old king laughed happily, very satisfied with his children. It was nearing the end, and the first prince had already been impatient for a while. He muttered a few words and left. The thing he hated most was listening to the old guy nag. A moment later, Princess Lana also bowed and left. Unexpectedly, second prince also followed her out. Although I don't know what you are doing, you had better give it up. Your future was decided from the day you were born. Second prince looked at his sister askance. Regarding this sister, others might not know, but he was very clear. This was an incredibly terrifying person. Haha, brother, what are you talking about? What do you think I am going to do? Princess Lana laughed softly. Really, you always like to say things I don't understand. Second prince's face darkened. No need to pretend in front of me. I know what kind of person you are. Brother's words are really incomprehensible. Second prince was unwilling to say more and left directly. Chapter 153 Princess Lana Chapter 154 Princess Lana This person is becoming increasingly impossible to read. Especially lately, being around her feels strange, as if I could drop dead at any moment. This person, is she actually a monster? The second prince felt heavy-hearted. Although he had tried to probe her just now, Princess Lana hadn't leaked a single piece of information, so he still didn't know what she was plotting in the dark. That's right, she must be doing something in the shadows. The second prince was certain of this, but he had no way of knowing what it was. Even though she looks like just a 14-year-old girl, she gives off the feeling of a terrifying giant serpent. TCH, what on earth is going on? Is that really still my sister? The second prince really couldn't figure it out. A few years ago, he merely thought his sister was a psychopath, but now, she had far exceeded that level. No one else knew, but the second prince could feel these subtle changes. She clearly hadn't had contact with outsiders, so even if she had any plans, she shouldn't be able to execute them. What exactly was hidden beneath her perfect facade? Princess Lana walked into the small garden with light steps. Hee, second brother is really interesting. His brain is much more flexible than big brother's. It's just a pity that this only makes people dislike him more. Wouldn't it be better to be silly like big brother? However, although his brain is flexible, it's just petty cleverness. Layers of transparent light walls rose up, quickly isolating the small garden from the outside. From the outside, Princess Lana just appeared to be admiring flowers. Whether it was due to a natural talent for illusion magic, she not only learned it with great ease, but was also incredibly adept at using it. Princess Lana waved her hand upwards. A crow landed helplessly on her shoulder. Princess Lana, human. Level, 34 Karma, -200 Class, Princess, LV2, Actress, LV4, Genius Arcane Caster, LV15, Genius Magic Caster, LV15, Genius Wizard, LV12, Illusionist, LV10, Hexer, LV3, Princess Lana, who was already a monster-level talent, had even more terrifying talent after using the Dragon Blood Potential Potion. In just 2 years, she reached level 30-something. Given enough time, breaking through to level 60 is a sure thing. Her potential was only slightly lower than that of a godkin. Illusionist and hexer both belong to intermediate classes. According to Rowan's existing experience, the advanced class for illusionist likely requires both of these classes. As for when she could break through, Rowan couldn't be sure either. He had only obtained some information about the advanced class, Myriad Form Phantom Shadow Master, from numerous magic reference books. He knew that the prerequisites for this advanced class included the two intermediate classes of illusionist and hexer, but he didn't know the other conditions, so he could only pass on the relevant classes to Princess Lana, hoping she would find her own way. In this way, Rowan would have a chance to take on a higher-level special class. However, even for a monster-level talent like Princess Lana, it would take time to qualify for this advanced class. "Teacher, are you here today?" Princess Lana looked at the crow with anticipation, gently stroking its back. The crow didn't speak. Princess Lana was a little disappointed, thinking today was the same as before. Princess Lana was very disappointed. She liked the crow very much and would spend time with it every day, but she hoped even more that her teacher could descend onto the crow and teach her. Today it seemed he still hadn't come. I'm here." The crow spoke in human language. "Ah, teacher, you haven't been here for 73 days. Princess Lana looked aggrieved. "Did I, Princess Lana, do something wrong?" "Hiss, this girl, with that pitiful look, it's a pity she didn't become a succubus." "Ahem, I've had important things to do recently. In fact, I've basically taught you all the relevant knowledge, the rest depends on your own efforts. You can't rely on me." "No, there is still a lot for me to learn." Princess Lana stroked the crow's head and said with a smile, "Teacher, why won't you come see me in your true form? Is it because Princess Lana performed too poorly and didn't meet your requirements?" "Actually, Princess Lana wants to do something for you too." They had been together for so long, yet they still only communicated through the crow. For now, it's not necessary. You just need to work hard for now. Although you've stepped into hero rank, for me, at least an aberrant can barely help me as an assistant." Princess Lana sighed. "An aberrant? Teacher, you really are amazing. I previously suspected that Baron Alka was you, and I even secretly investigated a bit. Now it seems he is just your subordinate. Not bad observation skills, to be able to see even that." Princess Lana laughed. "What's difficult about that? I've met that Baron Alka a few times. His strength is terrifyingly powerful, obviously exceeding the limits of an aberrant. His actions clearly have a hidden motive, and it's not for himself. I suspect there is someone behind him. I previously suspected those legendary dragon lords, but it didn't feel quite right. Just now, with your reminder, I have a guess. I suspect that besides being a magic caster, you must also be a powerful blacksmith or alchemist." After Baron Alka controlled 8 fingers, the tendency of his actions was very obvious. It clearly couldn't be a melee class. Rowan's eyebrows twitched. There was no helping it, the amount of materials he needed was truly too vast. He needed to scrape together numerous magic materials. It wasn't a problem to hide this from ordinary people, but for high-ranking individuals with extremely high intelligence like Princess Lana, or the Blood Emperor, it was very normal for them to guess some things through clues. The theocracy might also have noticed something. Of course, they shouldn't be able to guess it was me. I've been hiding in the Holy Kingdom, and never stand out. Except for making a bit of a name for myself as an adventurer 2 years ago. I'm just an ordinary master blacksmith now. There are 7 or 8 master blacksmiths in the human kingdoms, so they wouldn't necessarily link it to me. Moreover, the collected materials only indicate there is a magic caster behind it, not pointing to a blacksmith. Rowan thought to himself. Princess Lana laughed. "Then, let me guess again. The scope of 8 Fingers' activities exists in the kingdom, the empire, the Holy Kingdom, and even the theocracy. I guess your scope of activity is likely in these countries. Among these countries, the famous blacksmiths and alchemists within the last 5 years are limited. Among them, those with mysterious backgrounds are few. Could that legendary genius blacksmith, Rowan, be you, teacher? Rowan's expression was almost unable to hold steady. You haven't even left the palace, how do you know so much about things outside? Don't guess wildly without evidence. Ahem, stop guessing blindly. Chapter 154, Princess Lana's Ambition. Chapter 155, Princess Lana's Ambition. She didn't deny it. Then there's a high probability that the teacher is Master Rowan. She had previously obtained a portrait of Master Rowan, black hair, black eyes, and a very ordinary appearance. She had initially thought the teacher was an old man, but she hadn't expected him to be so young. She was truly looking forward to the moment she would officially meet the teacher. A terrifying thought began to spread within Princess Lana's heart. Master Rowan's strength absolutely exceeded that of any human. What was he secretly planning? It was truly interesting. Could it be that he wanted to overturn the current order and unify all human nations? This possibility was quite high. 8 fingers had penetrated the 4 human nations to collect intelligence and secretly accumulate strength. Was he preparing to start controlling one of the nations next? According to Alka's logic of action, this possibility was not small. Baron Alka had infiltrated the kingdom, the headquarters of 8 fingers was also in the kingdom, and he had even accepted her as a student. Then the teacher's goal was clear: the kingdom would definitely be the first to be taken into his hands. After taking the kingdom, he would then launch a campaign against the other 3 nations. The other 3 nations must also have the teacher's inside agents. With internal and external cooperation, combined with the teacher's formidable strength, at least the Holy Kingdom and the Empire would not be a problem. So that was it. Rowan looked at Princess Lana in confusion. Seeing her thoughtful expression, Rowan felt a bit guilty. Surely she hadn't discovered something hidden again, right? Impossible. No matter how good her brain was, without the support of intelligence, she couldn't possibly deduce his secrets. I understand, teacher. Let me become the queen of the kingdom. I have long since grown tired of this prison. Father is already old, my eldest brother is as stupid as a pig, and my second brother, while having a bit of a brain, is nothing special. Since that's the case, let the Empire launch a large-scale war. I will arrange some means to send my eldest brother to the battlefield, and then let him die there. Princess Lana said this with a blank expression, her words incomparably cruel. Once my eldest brother dies, father will be overcome with grief and fall ill. I'll give him a little push. With the Empire's fierce offensive, my second brother's intelligence will tell him that they can't win head-on, so he will compromise with the other side. At that moment, you can mobilize public opinion, and then control father to make him pass the throne to me. As for my second brother, once I ascend to the throne, I can just find an excuse to get rid of him. Princess Lana had a gentle smile on her face, but the words she spoke were incomparably cold. Wouldn't that meet your expectations? According to my guess, there must be your people in the upper echelons of the Empire. I have also used my own abilities to recruit some people here. Dragging my eldest brother to his death on the battlefield shouldn't be a problem. What do you think? In the future, after Bone King descended, the kingdom would serve as the first battlefield, and this country would also be Bone King's first target. In the plot, Bone King first occupied the cities in the south of the kingdom, and later used some nobles and the princess of the kingdom to annex the entire country. In fact, Rowan had planned to push the princess or another puppet onto the throne next year, and then use the kingdom as a battlefield to make arrangements. He hadn't expected Princess Lana to bring it up first. Although it was a bit different from the plan he had in mind, the result was the same. Rowan felt no psychological pressure whatsoever in dealing with the decaying kingdom. A good proposal. It is indeed as you guessed. I have inside agents in the upper echelons of the Empire. In fact, Blood Emperor can also be considered half one of our own. I can have him initiate a large-scale war. After learning that Flutter had turned to the Forgotten Island, and that it was irreversible, some reckless emperors might have driven Flutter out of the Empire. But Blood Emperor was different. He knew that while it was simple to let Flutter leave, the moment the other party left would be the beginning of the Empire's collapse. Even if the Forgotten Island did not take action, and even if he could maintain the country, the national strength would rapidly decline. And once the Forgotten Island retaliated, the consequences would be unimaginable. Since he couldn't resist, it was better to join the Forgotten Island. This was Blood Emperor's thinking. Cooperation had many benefits, while resistance had none. In fact, Rowan did not pay attention to Blood Emperor. Such an ordinary ruler, no matter how capable, was of no use to him. After all, Rowan didn't want to be any kind of ruler, he only wanted to pursue the mechanisms of magic. However, Alka seemed very interested in him. So that's it. Even Blood Emperor, that is truly terrifying. With Blood Emperor's help, the chances of success are much greater. Some of the methods originally intended for Warrior Captain can be put aside for now. Rowan said, these are all minor matters. Your own improvement in strength is more important. Do not become obsessed with power and neglect your own development. Even if you become queen, if you cannot step into the realm of the aberrant within a year, then you will only be a puppet, not a member of my plans. Is that so? I understand. Although she didn't know what the teacher's plan was, a member of the plan. That must mean she was one of his own. I will have Alka find someone to contact you, and I will also give you Blood Emperor's contact method. How you handle things afterward is up to you. I will not interfere. I will meet your expectations, teacher. There is one more thing. On the day I become queen, could you meet me in your true form? Rowan hesitated a little, but seeing her expectant gaze, Rowan couldn't help but sigh. He seemed to be a bit too biased. 2 disciples, 1 apprentice. Nia was kept by his side for guidance, Princess Lana only received remote education, and as for Wind Chime, she was completely left to Masamog. In fact, Princess Lana was the one with the highest talent. I understand. I will come directly on that day. Princess Lana revealed a brilliant smile. That is truly wonderful. Rowan's consciousness departed, and then he told Alka about this matter. The loyal and devoted Alka immediately began making arrangements. On the other side, Princess Lana was extremely happy. She hugged the crow in her arms and rubbed it vigorously. The crow rolled its eyes. Staying by the princess's side every day was not exactly a good job. Princess Lana's mood was a bit agitated, but she was mostly happy. The reason for her happiness was not anything else, but that the teacher did not detest her thoughts. He didn't care about her thoughts of wanting to kill her eldest brother, second brother, or even her father. He only cared whether her strength could meet the standard. This was truly wonderful. As expected in this world, only the teacher could understand her thoughts. From the very first day, the teacher must have known about her mental abnormality. So-called family affection was nothing but a prison. Now she was going to break this prison and welcome a new life. What was the teacher's plan? Could it be a plan even bigger than ruling the human nations, such as ruling this world? This is truly interesting. I am so looking forward to it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Novels Wonderland.